G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be having a look at some things I've been doing recently. Couple of things. I've changed my Plex server from PCTLC-Ezarch Gnome to Peppermint OS. There's a couple of reasons for that. Peppermint OS is a rolling distro now and it comes with very limited applications, so you build it yourself. So that's perfect for a server rather than Arch, because Arch has way too many updates to be a server. So now that Peppermint OS has come out, and I did not expect it to be a rolling release, so that's a real bonus. So I thought that to be a server for my Plex and I can watch my movies and whatever, I can install Peppermint to that and I will never have to reinstall. So that's an absolute bonus. And not only that, it's less maintenance. I don't have to keep updating it all the time like Arch. I'm not going to be continuously chasing and be on top of updates all the time. So that's a bonus. I've also got a Microsoft Surface Go. That was very challenging to try and get Wi-Fi working because it wasn't working at all. I've got some pictures on the side here that just shows you the boot screen. I can no longer show you that because I've wiped Windows off and installed my PCTLC-Ezarch Gnome desktop. This screen is not going to come up anymore, but I was talking about it in the video and I didn't have any examples to give you. When you boot with that, if you turn off secure boot, and I think that'll be shown in the video anyway, then you can try USB and select Limpus Lite, which is on the side there. If you can get to Limpus Lite, you should be able to boot whichever USB you've put in. So currently drivers are an issue for wireless and the camera on the Surface Go. I've got no camera, not fussed about that. Can't be spied on. Bonus. But I think it's a problem with the current firmware. So the reason why my PCTLC-Ezarch is working on that is because it's based on Arch. Arch has got the most latest firmware, I suppose, and that's a bonus for Arch being on top of that stuff. I did try Ubuntu's based and whatever, 2110, 20.04, but none of them worked. Wi-Fi just would not work. I tried with the little file. There's a little file that you can do. I think I demonstrate that in the video, and that didn't work. But I don't know if I was doing it correctly. But that's a little bit of hit and miss there as well. So these are the things I've been up to. I'm pretty happy with my Plex server. I've had to copy 900 and something gigabytes worth of movies and TV shows to get it back off of that hard drive, because there's a 2 terabyte hard drive in there. Then I reconfigured the partitions for a 50 gig root partition to install the operating system, and then the rest is like a 1.9 terabyte data drive, and I used GNOME disks to auto mount in the FS tab, and apparently the best place to put that for the Plex server is in / or root media. So that's where I've put it, and it worked fine. Last time I had it, the whole disk with PCTLC-Ezarch, the operating system was installed to the whole disk, and I had it on in the home folder somewhere, and I had to change owner and mess about with it, and I just had a hard time trying to get the Plex server to identify that media that I had on there. And I was talking to an IT at work, and he said it's better if it's in / media, because it doesn't like things to be in, Plex doesn't like things to be in the user home directory. So, and he's right, because I actually just mounted it at media, the data partition mounted at media, and Plex found it no problem at all. So I just got a bit of a video there just showing you what I got up to, so you can check that out. and see what I've been doing. So this is my Acer computer. Work didn't really want these, and I like to recycle things if I can. It's a Veriton, Acer Veriton. It's now called Acer Plex. Now I've got another two of those up there. They didn't come with very big hard drives or anything in them, but I just thought I would recycle this computer. I've been using it with PCTLC-Ezarch, the Gnome desktop, but that's Arch and there's too many updates, and this is just a server. So I decided, let's turn this on. So what I've decided to do is put Peppermint on it. So what I had to do there, if we have a look here, Peppermint will start. And that's my Peppermint OS. Now, and the reason why I chose Peppermint, it's now a rolling distro. So I thought it's based on Debian. It's not going to have a lot of updates, so it doesn't take a lot of maintenance, and it's just to serve the Plex server. So this is my Plex server running Peppermint OS. As you can see, I haven't installed much on here, just Firefox and Google Chrome and Simple Screen Recorder as well. So you can see the Plex media server there. So what I did was I changed the volume. I've added, if we can have a look at the way I've got the system set up. If we've got G parted in here still, let's have a look at that. I made a root partition here, about 50 gigs. And then I've got a data drive there. And what I've done is I've mounted that data drive. If we have a look at disks, I'll close G parted. Probably should have looked at disks anyway, I suppose. Let's check that out. So there's 50 gig root partition, 8 gig of swap, and a 1.9 terabyte partition for data. And that is mounted at media. So if we have a look at the file system and media, there's media and there's the disk there with the media inside, movies and TV shows. Plenty of movies and some TV shows. Breaking Bad I'm currently watching. Haven't seen it before. I've just finished season 3. So that's another reason why I wanted to get this up and running. So I was using my PCTLC-Ezarch, but this one here, there's not many updates to go through, so it takes less maintenance to do so. So what I've done here is this partition here, I just went to edit mount options, and I did a mount point of media, and that's all I've done. I think I actually, let's just have another quick look. I toggled this on or off, whichever one it was by default. Check it off or toggle it off or on, or whichever way it goes, and then add your mount point. So I've done that, and that's working with Plex, no problem at all. If it's in your home folder, I think Plex has a problem with that, but mounting it here is fine. Now, also doing my Plex, trying to set up my Plex. Actually, where was it? Let me have a look. Documents, website to connect to Plex device. So if you log into Plex, it's not going to work if you log in normally. So if we have a look, I'm not on the internet at the moment, but there's a couple of Plex apps there, and then you got Plex here. But this is the address that you go to log into Plex. So that what that does is that once you go to that address, it will pick up your server. You've got to go to this address to pick up your server, and then you can attach your server and then attach your media. So I attach my movies separately, my TV shows separately. I think I've got no music in there at the moment. So, and that's all running beautifully. Been watching some movies and Breaking Bad on Plex, and it's all working well. So that's one of the reasons why I chose to do this on Peppermint, because it's a rolling release. It doesn't need to be reinstalled again, so I can just use that for the lifetime of Plex. Just continue to update every now and then, via SSH on my main computer. And not only that, it has a lot less things in here, or applications. It's not many at all, and I don't need many on here. All I need is this thing to run my Plex server, all running well. The biggest problem with all of that, getting that over to getting it all redone again, I had to copy 920 gigs of movies and videos, which takes quite a long time, and then put them all back on again. But now that I've got the separate root partition, if we have a look at this again, I've got the separate root partition. I can install any distro I want and not affect the data here. So I don't have to recopy all that stuff, because that just takes forever. So if I change my mind, I've got the flexibility. And that was the whole reason for doing this, and also choosing something a little bit more stable and not as aggressive in the update areas as what Arch is. So this is the other project I've been working on, is the Surface Go. Now the Surface Go seems to be not too bad, but we have a problem with Linux in this one as far as internet goes. So if you hold down the power key and the minus key, you will get your BIOS, or your startup, BIOS screen, I think it is. I've turned off secure boot, which is just here, secure boot. Turn that off, and I've still enabled trusted platform module, so everything's booting on that with secure boot off. I don't think it allows you pass into this screen if you don't turn it off. So let's exit that, restart now. Now in this computer here I have a USB. I think I've tried just about every distro I can think of, and I could not get wireless working on this little Surface Go. However, I put my PCTLC-Ezarch in, which is an Arch base that Esnix has made, and I created my own ISO using Esnix's script. Unfortunately, it's not doing the GNOME one anymore, but I've still got one here, and this is not too old, this GNOME one. For some reason, this one works with wireless out of the box, so I'm pretty happy with that. So let's have a look here. Let's check this out. If we click on here and we go to Wi-Fi and select network, and as you can see, I've got all the networks there available for selection. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's just quickly connect that, and there we have Wi-Fi working. Now, everything else I've tried, Ubuntu 21.10, Linux Mint 20.3, MX Linux, you name them, I've tried them. I was going to do Deepin, but you can't try a live desktop with Deepin, so I'm not going to bother. I haven't actually installed anything on this yet. Still got Microsoft Windows on this computer. So the thing that I did here is, the only problem is scaling. So if we open a terminal, if we just do a sudo pacman-S-yu, put in our password, just sync the mirrors to start with. Once you turn off the secure boot, then you put your USB in there and it just automatically picks it up. But it will go sometimes, for mine it just goes straight into the USB. Sometimes it goes into a recovery, and once you're in the recovery you select USB and select Limpus Lite. I'm going to go no on that. Now what we're going to do here is I'm going to install dconf editor, so sudo pacman-s dconf-editor, and enter that, and that's done. Now what we can do is dconf editor, I'll be careful, if we go into org gnome mutter, and under Wayland, which is Wayland here, you've got this experimental features, and if we put in this scale monitor frame buffer down here, so we turn off the default value and we go double quotes, what was it? I've forgotten what it's called now. Scale monitor. Okay, now when you know that it's correct, you can tick the box. The box won't be it's selected there unless it's a correct value. So there we go. And it tells you here what it is. This one here, scale and monitor frame buffer. So we just tick the box there. And now we should have in the settings, and we go to display, fractional scaling. Now I think 175 I think was pretty good for this computer, and that's not too bad. I have to say with 3 fingers, if I can just sort of move this around a little bit more, or back a bit. If we go 3 fingers, we get that, and we can scroll that this way and that way. We can also do it on here, scroll up that and back down. Move this over. Sorry, 3 fingers. No, it's not working. Well, you can move that for sure. Probably because there's no second desktop. So if I was to open, say, files and then go like that and move that over to there, then we can probably... Oh. All right, so it sort of froze on me a little bit there. I don't know why it did that. If we go to settings, open settings, and if we open files, and then we zoom that out, and then we move files over to here, and then we can go back in, we can select from up here, can't we? So we can go to there and we can scroll across like so. We can bring that back out like so, and also works on the trackpad as well. The trackpad goes sideways, so maybe we can... Oh, so you can only select it there, but you can't... Oh, yes, you can. Don't know why. And it froze again. Anyway, we're running from the USB, and that's probably why. But I'm definitely going to look at installing this. Yeah, it's just frozen up on me. So yeah, I'd have to restart that. It looks like I can't log out either, so that's all right. You got the example anyway. You get the gist. You get the gist of that. Probably because I'm running off USB. It's not installed. Hope that's not an issue, but I'm definitely going to be installing this PCTLC-Ezarch on here. Although Arch updates are just crazy lately, but it's better to have a rolling distro rather than have to install it again. Hopefully the others will catch up with this, what is it? It's a Qualcomm Atheros QC86174, whatever that relates to, an Atheros AK10 or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But this driver seems to be very difficult to find. There's some sort of workaround with a .bin file or something. I'm not sure what that's all about. But that's where I'm up to with this. So I've found something that works, which is my own ISO, so I'm pretty happy with that. So this is my PCTLC-Ezarch Gnome desktop running on the Microsoft Surface Go. Wireless was working out of the box, which is nice. None of the other distros were doing that. Now I've put it down to, let's just have a quick look on here. We go to user lib firmware ATH10K and QCA6174 HW2.1 HW30. Now this board-2.bin file, if we can move a little closer, this board-2.bin and the board.bin, this one here is meant to be the problem one, and I believe it also could be one in here, board-2.bin. It's very hard finding those files. So that was the problem I was having. That was the problem I was having with the other distros. Apparently they're missing these particular files in these two folders or this one folder here. I'm not sure which one it is. So that's the problem. Now, if we use 3 fingers and slide up and then slide up again, we get that. We can scroll across, or maybe we can scroll across with this, with the mouse pad, and scroll across. We can go on to here, and then we can scroll sideways here. We can scroll. If we go, and if we even do it from here, and as long as you don't touch the window, if it's full screen, it's fine. You'll be able to 3-finger scroll, and then you can go up. You can choose your window. You can go back and forwards with that. Go up like that, go back there, and go up again, and you've got your apps to choose from. That works really nice. Even on the touchpad, we go back and back, or we go back up and across, or back up and those ones there. And that's 2-finger scroll, not 3. That's a 2-finger scroll. 1 doesn't work. 2 does. 3 doesn't. 2 does. 3 works with the top one. If you see it changing the workspaces there with 3 fingers, 2 fingers does that. So, I don't know, that's pretty awesome with the Gnome desktop there, I must say. So this is working very well. The only thing I don't have is the front and rear camera is not working. That's the only problem. I did read somewhere that it's possibly going to be put in to a new firmware in an upcoming Linux firmware possibly. So being on Arch Linux, if that happens, then possibly we'll get the latest firmware. So obviously Arch Linux has the latest firmware for the wireless drivers, but Ubuntu 21.10 currently doesn't. And anything before that, I've tried them all, nothing works. So hopefully, being on Arch Linux and rolling and being very up to date, I'm hoping that eventually these cameras will start working. So definitely it doesn't work with GUVC view. If we have a look, GUVC view, and we get close there and have a look at that. It's recognizing the device, but nothing's happening. There's an error. No video device found. And if we change that to any one of these, I don't know why it's got it in there multiple times, and it'll come up with the same error. So somebody said cheese may work. Somebody said it may work with cheese, so I don't know why. If I don't think I have. Oh, I got cheese in here. I didn't realize I had cheese on here. There was an error playing video from the webcam, so definitely it's not working. So, and also with the touchpad, if you go back on that, if you do 2 fingers in the middle of the touchpad, that'll be a right click, as you can see, and then you've got left click there. So anywhere is a left click, and then in the middle, actually I think it's anywhere. Anywhere on the touchpad is right click. So I didn't realize that either. So anywhere you touch on the touchpad is a right click. Nice. Like that. And obviously, I don't know how we do that. So we use touch screen there. That and that. And we can open things up. Text document. Full screen it. Bring it down. Close. So that all works really well. Don't know about... I'm thinking maybe we have to take off the... If we take that off and try... No, it doesn't work. Oh, so we've got to hold 2 fingers down, and there we go. So that's how that works. There we go. So 2 fingers, hold them down. Let's try that again. 2 fingers, and there we go. So that works well. So that's the progress with the Microsoft Surface Go. I'm pretty happy with the way that works. I'm extremely happy with the way Gnome functions on here. Gnome is really, really good with this type of tablet, I must say. So this is my normal tablet that I go traveling with. Pretty thick, bulky and heavy. That's going to be around the house around the house computer, which is running Peppermint, and running Peppermint with a lot of flat packs on it. So I'm going to try heavy use of flat packs on here. It's a little bit slow. It's still got a spinning drive, which is probably 5400 speed, which is a bit slow opening applications up, but that's all good. Maybe I'll buy an SSD and pop it in there. But yeah, this one here is working. This Surface Go works really well. Just hopefully the camera works in the future. So that's my Microsoft Surface Go. So that's what I've been up to with my devices. Just trying to get things working and finally got them working anyway. I'm pretty impressed with the Gnome desktop on the Surface Go. That works really well. I'm happy with that. And Peppermint being a rolling distro now and having very minimal applications installed on there. All I've got is simple screen recorder to record the desktop, obviously, and Google Chrome and Firefox. I needed that to connect the Plex server, so I put them both in there just in case I had an issue with one of them. So people might find some of the things in there interesting. I will leave the link to the Plex server login to add the server, because that confused the heck out of me. I was logged in under normal Plex trying to find my server and add my movies and stuff, but I couldn't add the server, and I was getting highly frustrated trying to figure out, because I've done this before, why can't I do it again? Because I was logging into that location and wasn't aware of it from the first time that I did it. So I had to do a bit of a search on that just to figure out what I was doing, and found that on a website somewhere. I think it might have been even the Plex website, I think, that said that you needed to go to that location to add your server. So that was kind of interesting anyway. So the server's up and running. I'm pretty happy. I've been watching some movies off of that. So I was dreading having to do that again and copy all that stuff over and bring it all back again, but I don't have to do that anymore because I've got that root partition on that. So I'm pretty happy with that. If I do change my mind on distros, I only need to install the distro to the root drive and just reattach the server again. So that's, and also redo the FS tab with Gnome Dis. Not too hard, but I can't see myself changing. I'm pretty happy with Peppermint being the distro for that Plex server. I think it's the ideal choice. And the Surface Go, couldn't be happier with that. No camera, back and front, not fussed about that. I can use it now as a traveling device rather than that big bulky one that I used to take with me. This one's a lot more compact, a lot lighter, takes up less space, and things are working. And hopefully somewhere down the track with that being using a Linux, using an Arch base, somewhere along the way the firmware will be updated and the cameras may start working. So we'll see how we go with that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some of it interesting and informative at least. And thanks for watching.